Hello, everybody. I'm sort of a little bit rushed today. Anyone in Hobart knows that it's a bit windy tonight, so I'm sort of um, trying to race against the wind clock. Because if there's anywhere that's going to lose power, it's going to be here. So I just wanted to try to squish this episode in. I was going to record all of this the other day, whenever the hell that was. But life crisis happened, kid hospital, like it's all good, but I kind of got my brain's working great, distracted, or oh, this is gonna go well. Sorry. I don't know what the word is I'm trying to think of, but you get what I mean. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to record this. It's kind of like a little thing that I wrote. That there was this like a trailery snippety thing the other day for. It's just like like my experience of the when I did the victim impact statement at court. Um, so I'm going to again not have the camera on just because freaking anxious and I don't want you to see my face, and it's just easier for me to talk that way. But I'll just quickly read this little intro bit. So this episode's about the truth, about how heavy it is to speak it out loud when the world would rather look away. I want to share what it was like to go through the process of writing and delivering a victim impact statement, and how even in that moment of truth I was met not with support but with disgust. And I want to talk about the way people hold on to stories that protect the abuser while leaving the survivor to carry the blame. So that's what this is about. Yeah, so I guess if that's going to be triggering for anyone, yeah, I don't know. Cool, I'm just going to shut up now and get this done. So I'm going to read this out and then put it all together. And I had this idea on the way home about the next episode. I think it was just going to be moving on from this, about the narrative that people tell about their exes and stuff, and then also the toxic, um, far out. I'm talking about the way that people end up really isolated in relationships because all their friends are isolated from them, or they're isolated from their friends. It can impact friendships and stuff, which 100% did with me. So I was going to talk a little bit about that as well. All right, so I'll get going and I hope you enjoy. Even before I spoke a single word, I could feel the weight of what I was walking into. The second I reached the top of the stairs as I arrived at court, I saw his new partner waiting there. It was deliberate, meant to throw me, to unsettle me, before I even stepped into the room. Later, when she sat right next to his mother, it became very clear. It was staged, a performance, as if to say, here's my new ally, here's the person who takes your place. The two of them, side by side, were meant to strip me of my voice, to make it clear that I wasn't just standing against him, but against the little army he'd built out of lies and manipulation. And honestly, it was disgusting because it wasn't just about me anymore. It was about showing everyone in the room that the people closest to him were ready to erase the truth and replace it with his performance. And I'll be honest, I nearly didn't go through with it. Walking into that building carrying all that fear, I almost turned back. The weight of what I was about to do felt overwhelming. But I wasn't alone. I had a close friend with me that day, and without their support, I don't think I could have done it. They reminded me that my voice mattered, that I deserved to be heard, that I was strong enough to say the words. Then, for the very first time, I was given the chance to go into the safe room. The court support worker guided me there, and then my lawyer arrived, and suddenly I wasn't just one person against the storm. I was surrounded. I had my lawyer beside me, the court support worker next to me, and my friend just behind me. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe. And when sentencing was over, they did it again. The three of them formed around me like a protective shield, a Teflon coat, as I walked out. He was just ahead of me, and when he turned around, I panicked for a second. But then I realised I wasn't exposed anymore. I was surrounded, held, protected. And in that moment, I felt two things at once: terrified, but also empowered, because for once I didn't feel alone. But before I could even give my statement, the magistrate began reading out the sentencing material. It felt like it went on forever. And in that moment, I heard things I didn't even know before, things about past behaviours, about patterns that existed long before me. It was overwhelming. Hearing it laid out like that in black and white, it almost broke me. I was shaking. I wanted to run, but then something unexpected happened. The magistrate made it clear that this wasn't just about me. They named the pattern, they called it what it was, and in their decision, they formally listed him as a serial family violence offender. That moment was shattering and empowering at the same time. Shattering because the reality of what I'd lived through was even bigger than I realised. Empowering because for once it wasn't just me saying it, it was the system naming it. And that gave me just enough strength to keep going and to read my statement. When I wrote my victim impact statement, I felt like I was putting my entire soul on paper. Every wound, every fear, every moment of terror. Writing it meant reliving everything I'd worked so hard to survive. And standing in that courtroom reading those words, I felt stripped bare, like I was standing there exposed with nothing to shield me. When I finished, I looked up, and instead of even the smallest sign of recognition, I saw his mother shake her head at me in disgust. That moment cut deeper than I expected, because it wasn't just a dismissal, it was a symbol of everything that had come before. For years, she shaped the story that excused his behaviour. Ever since he lost his father when he was young, every act of violence, every time he lashed out, she defaulted to the same line. He's like this because of what he's been through, because of the loss. She convinced him of it too. She raised him to believe he was broken because of the past, when the truth is, it was her. She coddled him, she excused him, and she twisted everything so he never had to face responsibility. Protecting him didn't make him better. It trapped him in a story that kept him small, angry, and lost. I saw that so clearly, and I tried. I tried so many times to get him to see it for himself. I told him, "You'll never move forward until you break free of this. You'll never truly live until you stop being trapped in her story." And for a while, he started to see it. There were moments where he admitted things, where the cracks in the narrative showed. And honestly, I believed I could get him there. I believed I could help him finally stand up to her. But then I had to report a breach, and in that moment, everything was gone. The ground I'd gained, the glimpses of the truth he'd started to admit to himself, it all disappeared. Reporting meant I was the enemy again, and he ran straight back to the comfort of the story. It's not me, it's my trauma, it's everyone else. And what kills me the most is that I always saw the best in him. I saw the intelligent, capable, amazing man and father he had the potential to be. I believed in that version of him when nobody else did. Nobody even does now. And deep down, I still know to the very core of me that it's in there somewhere. But he was so damaged, so entangled in the lies he was fed, that no matter how much I tried to pull him out, he could never escape. And that's the tragedy. Because I know he could have been a genuine, caring, beautiful man and father, but he was never allowed to believe it. And now the cost of that is carried by me, by my child, and by everyone he hurts. When his mother shook her head at me in that courtroom, it wasn't just about me, it was about protecting the story she's built, the one where she's the victim and he's the misunderstood boy. And that's what makes abuse so hard to fight. It's not just the person who harms you, it's the web of denial, excuses, and loyalty that surrounds them. Even now, his new partner believes him, his mates believe him. They cling to the version where I'm the problem because it's easier than facing the truth. But I spoke my truth anyway. I stood in that courtroom, I said the words, and I will keep saying them because as much as they want to protect their story, I have mine, and mine is real. And I know there are others out there listening who have felt the same disbelief, the same dismissal, the same betrayal. This is for them. This is for us. We keep speaking, even when they shake their heads. Okay, so that's the story. Thanks for listening. Uh, yeah, look, I could have gone on obviously a lot more, but um, believe it or not, I still care about people, and no matter what they tell people, but I do, and I'm obviously going to protect people as much as I can, but I'm also going to help other victims out there that need the help. That's why I'm doing this. So be pissed all you want, but it's happening, and I'm not doing anything wrong, and I deserve to have a voice, and so do all of you. I was going to say something, but I can't remember. I always have these great ideas when I'm like in the middle of reading that kind of stuff, and then I'm like, I'm going to mention this and this, and then it's gone. I guess like just if anyone's going through the process of writing, court support have a designated person that can help with writing it. So like they will help edit it and make it like all good. They have to vet it pretty heavily. There's lots of drafts usually that you'll go through because you can only talk about the truth and the things that have been charged. So I wasn't actually allowed to lie about anything. That's just how it works. Doesn't mean it didn't stop his lawyer from trying to rebut stuff after the fact, which, I mean, he had plenty of time to do well before that date. But anyway, it's, yeah, look, I did everything that I needed to do. I followed all of the rules, I guess. And it, yeah, was a lot longer before that. So, and there's obviously also a lot more that I wish I could have talked about, but you can only talk about the stuff that is actually being charged, even if it's not been reported by the prosecution or like by the police to then have the prosecution do that. That's one of like the last video, I guess, that I was talking about. One of the sucky things about not being in control of it is you can't, like, it's not really, like, it is your words, but well, it's not really your words. Like, I mean, a police initiated order is initiated by police because they witness the crime. They witness, you know, or they have enough evidence to go off. And there was a shitload of evidence. And, I mean, they got called to the daycare and stuff, so they obviously saw a lot of it. You know, had to be pursued, so they dealt with that. So it's not like a lot of it could have been rebutted. And then the stuff about, you know, the night before, I was pleasantly surprised actually that they were able to keep all of it in. Like there was more than I thought they would mention. There's definitely a few things that were left out, a few things that are slightly not embellished, but just, I guess, played down. But it's always going to feel like that when you're the one that's gone through it. But at the end of the day, I just have to keep reminding myself, like, I'm, you know, the magistrate made the decisions that were made because of the truth and the charges, and you know, at the end of the day, like, there's not, you can't just makeup stuff. Anyway, I think you get the gist. I guess, yeah, like, so if anyone's thinking they're not sure if they want to do a statement, I strongly recommend it. I think that it has a lot to do with the outcome in the case that I had. Again, not ideal, but it could have been a lot worse, and I think it probably would have if I didn't do my statement. I think it was really important to show strength. Also, the magistrate was able to ask me some clarifying questions as well that I was able to answer, so that was really cool. That was kind of, I don't know, I just felt like, I actually had a little bit of, not input, but like, I guess, could give him clarity around a few things. And then, yeah, like the stuff that was then brought up that I had no, like 5 years together, I had no idea about some of the other things that were mentioned. But that is what played into that decision that he made to list as the serial perpetrator. So, yeah, there's like a lot of different obstacles. There's a lot of different ways that it can go. Nothing's ever going to really prepare you for doing it. Just hope that, they don't bring their new partner, because that's a bit of a spanner. But I don't know, I actually kind of knew that was going to happen, weirdly. I just knew, I don't know. I knew it. And then, like, my friend at the time was like, nah, it's not going to happen. Surely not. No. But it did. And so I'm glad that I semi-prepared myself, but you can't really prepare yourself for something like that. Just like the whole shaking head thing at the end, that was mortifying. Especially just given a lot of, 5 years of having what I thought was a mother-in-law, but I guess turns out never really was. But it's just a lot of grief, I suppose, in that. Anyway, so yes, there's someone at Court Support that you can talk to who can help you write it, edit it, and then obviously, like, going through it on the day, like, highly recommend getting some support. Even just one person. Court Support will go with you. They can't really go to anything else, but they can when you're involved. Or, like, say like you initiated an order and then it was on you, obviously, like, to decide a lot more, they'd probably be able to go then, but they weren't able to go with me to anything other than this sentencing stuff and the victim impact statement, because that's what I was doing. And it was definitely very freaking helpful, that, and then my friend being there, and I literally, like, I nearly did bail, like, right before it. I was just sort of panicking, but luckily had some wise words from my friend and reminded me that, like, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing it for you guys as well, for anyone who's going through this. I do believe, and I don't think that I'm up myself saying that I believe that I'm strong and that I've accomplished a shitload of stuff this year, more than most people could handle. Like, I'm not shy about saying that, because it's true. It's very difficult. There's been a lot of very, very, very dark, close call moments, I guess. It's been very freaking lonely as well, but I've been able to sort of start to reconnect with myself, I guess, and, like, I've got a couple of, like, really good friends now, and then, like, still sort of mourning the loss of, like, my old best friend and stuff like that, but it's, well, best friends, like, I don't really, yeah, it just is what it is, I suppose. Like, I think anyone who's been through this would know that it's really shitty when you lose people for whatever the reason at the time, but, like, ultimately, I suppose it comes down to not being your fault, but I guess, like, if you weren't in that relationship, it's, potentially, highly likely that wouldn't have happened, and that's definitely the case for me. And all my closest friends that I lost over the years. So it's very sad, and that's why I think that, I don't know, it's important to do that, what I mentioned earlier, for like the next episode or whatever, or whenever it is, because I just think it's really important that people understand the frame of mind and the twisting that like a partner abuser can do to manipulate you and just like completely reconstruct your thought process. I don't know, like there's so much stuff that I never would have done or said or whatever, and there's definitely like a lot of things I let go that I wouldn't have, but I was too scared not to and stuff like that. So yeah, like it's really crap, but I guess like the important people will hopefully stick by you and be willing to talk. Other people won't ever, no matter how hard you try, and that's just the way it is. I am waffling and I apologize. Yeah, I'm just struggling with a lot of emotions at the moment to do with the whole thing, and then it's just ongoing. Like I keep thinking, oh, I'm going to move on and things will get better, and then like there's another freaking hit and another hit and another hit, and like yeah, like it doesn't actually end, and that's exhausting because I don't actually know if it ever will end. It just seems to be one thing after another, but that's also why I'm doing this, because if like, and people can call me dramatic, but if like say I was to become a statistic or whatever, at least I've had this opportunity to talk out loud to you, and you, like anyone out there that is feeling this way, knows that they're not alone in feeling that way, and that they're just not alone. And I want to give as much education, I guess, as I can, and support as I can, just in case. Obviously, like, not expecting that and not planning on that, but it happens. Like, if you do your research, you will see the real figures and like hear that it happens a lot. Yeah. I also think I do want to talk a little bit about reporting and the ordeal of going through that. I would actually say the process of reporting and the treatment that I got from the police when I reported on multiple like instances is a big reason why people don't ask for help and are too scared to. It was horrific. It was worse than giving the statement, to be perfectly honest. I still struggle with it a lot. I think it's a lot. It's just, it contributes a lot to the sort of toxic thought process that, not that you're wrong, but that you're not like, that you're a drama queen, or like it's not that bad, like all the internal monologue that goes on in your head that, if you know, but yeah, look, just keep reminding yourself that you are important to many people, and that you're doing what you're doing because you're a warrior and you're not alone. Like, there are so many of us out there that have your back without you even knowing it. I've had a few people reach out, which has been awesome. I've sort of been liaising, I don't know, words. There's like this cool organisation that has like reached out, and like I'm maybe gonna like look at hopefully partnering or like doing some stuff with them and getting more word out there. And it just feels really good because this person's like reached out, someone I've never met before, never spoken to before, they've heard the podcast, and it's making that this is the difference, right? That I said, like, please like and share and stuff, because I need people to hear it, because it's just going to take one person to reach out and be like, hey, like, I have this story, and I don't expect anybody to want to come on a podcast and talk about their story. It's just more like awareness. Apparently I'm an advocate. And obviously anyone who does know me knows I love to help people, so that's why I'm doing this. I guess I could just talk for hours and hours if you let me. So I will wrap it up there. For now, I've got too many ideas in my head now about next episodes. My plan was to have one episode released by every weekend. Clearly that didn't just happen, and I apologize. That's because Aurora, like the hospital, just everything, like the whole week was just a bit of a write-off, and honestly, like, it was a very long week, but it was also very quick. So it was a bit of a whirlwind, and it doesn't feel like a whole week has passed, but it has. So anyway, moral of that story is the plan is that I am going to try to continue sticking to getting an episode out each weekend. So like this is for last week, and I will do another one this week. Some more. Sorry. How? Sorry guys, it's embarrassing. I'm gonna go. Yep. Please like and share and like reach out if you want to talk or whatever. And yeah, stay strong. I will talk to you soon.